Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that free agency analysis as the season continues to come closer. All these contracts are wrapping up, and guys are getting ready for training camp or signing a deal for training camp or try to make the roster at their last attempt because their contracts didn't go through or they couldn't get the deal that they wanted, so they had to go to the other deal, or they just trying to make a roster to improve their value, or just trying to go out there and stay in the NBA for another season. The Lakers get Christian Coloco. Most people don't know too much about this guy because he's not the biggest name, not the biggest player, didn't have a lot of opportunity with the Toronto Raptors, but he is a 7 footer, long and strong, and really is a solid player. He's not a guy that you want to be a starter at this point because he's not really that young. I mean, not really that old. So he doesn't really have the experience. He doesn't really have a lot of things going for him outside of being a big body that can dunk and catch the ball. He don't have the greatest hands. He doesn't have the highest IQ. He doesn't have the best screens, but he's still a guy that's learning the game and learning his body and still trying to understand the game. But having a guy like Anthony Davis and the team that they have there, they should be able to help him out a lot in his maturation to possibly become one of the starting players in the league for probably another team. But if you need a big body and you need somebody that has something that you can't teach, which is height and length, then Christian Coloco is a solid pick to me. Isaac Okoro is probably going to be the headliner. Cavaliers and him agreed to a 3-year, $38 million deal. I think that that's solid. He's not the greatest player, but at least he can be a starting caliber player that can cut to the basket, that can possibly make threes in the future. Hasn't really been able to show a crazy amount of that. But then again, who are you going to get that's better? Some of these guys they just stuck with, and they're better off just getting the best that they can out of them. They already have one of the best offensive backcourts in the game with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. They do need some defense in there for Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to be able not to worry about everything breaking down on the perimeter, as they do have a smaller backcourt compared to other teams in the league. So it's good to have a guy like Isaac Okoro who has the length and the size and the confidence that he can go out there and defend. He can be a solid rebounder. He can be a guy that can finish some plays, especially in transition, and that's his calling card right now. And it's just good that they was able to agree to a deal. I kept hearing that they was going to get close. I heard that it got closer, and now it's good to see the 3-year, $38 million deal done in pen and paper and signed up. And now they can just focus on being a better team than they were last year. And I think Cleveland is a team that's a contender in the Eastern Conference. If things go wrong or injuries happen, they have enough talent, they have enough closing, they have enough players, and they can match up against basically everybody to be a great team in the playoffs too. As we done seen, they have a lot of firepower too. Landry Shamet and the Knicks agreed to a 1-year deal. He's been bouncing around the league. He's just a guy that can play his role, which is make a mid-range, make a three, make a layup, and get out in transition and keep the ball moving if you don't have a shot. He understands that. He's been doing it his whole career. This is a guy that can make a shot, and a guy that doesn't hold on to the ball too long, and a guy that doesn't get into the way of the offense or to the flow of the defense. And he just a solid contributor, and I think that they'd be fine with that deal. The Celtics, they signed and then they waived Jordan Shackel. The Suns actually gave Mamadi 10-year Exhibit 10 contract, and they're just going to evaluate if he's good enough to give a roster spot to. They're a team that can't spend too much money, so they're trying to get as much value out of the contract as they can and out of some of these players that they can. And now they're just trying to form their roster to the best of their ability. And I feel like this guy can do some things. I don't know if he's going to be a huge difference maker, but then again, you're just trying to fill out the roster with guys you're confident in anyway. Um, Badgie and the Bucks agreed to a contract. He's not really going to have too much wiggle room. He's going to be on a cutthroat type of contract. We're giving you something. You might play, you might not play, you might get cut any type of day that happens in the NBA. And it's sad to see you get them short leash contracts, but this is the best you can get. You kind of have to go in that direction. And Tazi, he agreed to a deal what a two-way contract with the Blazers. Like I said, he's a young guy that's trying to prove that he can make it to the NBA, trying to prove to himself that he's an NBA caliber player. He got that far, but can he have that longevity? We'll see. But they gave him a two-way contract to protect themselves and be able to observe their options down the road. For themselves as a franchise. And, the Heat did waive Bryson Warren and Malik Williams. I was surprised by that, but they're going more of a veteran route like they usually do under Pat Riley, and the fact that Jimmy Butler 35 and Bam Adebayo is getting up there in age. You got to make moves that can help you win now, and usually that comes with getting veterans. And you can't really blame them for that because that's the system that got them into the NBA Finals the last couple years, which they have done twice. The Spurs do waive Jamari Bouye from the two-way contract. So, like I said, some guys get those contracts and they don't even play a game in the NBA. It just allows them to be evaluated, and sometimes they just go with somebody that they feel can do more for them right away. And obviously Blake Henson got waived by the Los Angeles Lakers on a two-way contract too, so they ended up going with Christian Coloco, which made sense because that's what they really needed, and I feel like he is a guy that can contribute more than him. Um, Marcus Morris signs a contract for the training camp deal with the New York Knicks. I feel like he's good enough to be on that type of roster. He's a guy that can post up a little bit, hit a mid-range, hit a three. He's a guy that can take advantage of mismatches. He's a guy that can play off the ball. He's a guy that doesn't need the basketball but can create his own shot. So I think that that's the best they can get with the available talent if they're trying to go in that direction. And I think it's good not to make too much of a commitment because he is an older player and you want to keep your options open as long as you can. And I think that when you look at the best talent available, he's one of them, like I said before, that you can get. And I think that that deal might work out a little bit. They also did say the Nets and the Hornets was impressed. A lot of interest for Isaac Okoro, so he did have some suitors. If he didn't work out a deal with the Cavaliers, possibly. Max, he ended up signing with the Jazz. I think this is an interesting one, as the Jazz are still a young team that's retooling a little bit under Danny Ainge, and they're still trying to put together a solid roster. And I think that they want some young talent on there because they are mainly young at the top, and you still want to be able to bring in some guys that can still develop and give some firepower. Jalen Green is still one of those guys that people feel that's going to get a max contract or close to it, and he prefers to sign and extend with the Rockets. They want him over so far. And then the ending of the news is the Kings decide to work out TJ Warren. He's a guy that's been having a lot of health problems. He's a guy that's been injured a lot, and he's been missing out on a lot of games. The Kings will also try to work out Jay Crowder and Nasir Little. Obviously, Jay Crowder is the guy you rather have. If you're the Kings, same with TJ Warren. TJ Warren is a guy that can score a little bit more than Jay Crowder and Nasir Little. He's a guy that's obviously better than those guys when healthy and if he can play and he can do more things offensively. But at least Jay Crowder and those guys suit up more when a number is called. They usually be ready to go, and they already have the next man mentality ingrained in their blood because they've been like that for multiple years already, and they already understand the business side of it. So I can see a guy like Jay Crowder eventually getting picked up, even if it's not by the Kings, and I can see Nasir Little probably having trouble because of the Morrises and the Crowders and the Warrens still being more valuable and having more size and still being able to give more or about the same versatility as a guy like Nasir Little. So, no disrespect, but it's just better options out there, and the team is trying to construct the best roster that they can and put as much talent that they can on the roster to have a competent roster going into the trade deadline, and after that, the NBA playoffs. And then these guys going to still be around and buy out. Some people going to want it to work. Some people going to try to make it work. Some guys going to try to do everything they can to get this last hooray. I made it to another year. I grinded to another year. You're going to be proud of that if you get a contract, but we starting to see a lot of these guys dwindle until we still want to be young. We still want to have those summer league caliber guys, those open spots for the G League, that get the calls. We want to have those roster spots open too for guys that we like checking out, and we don't want to lose them, and we have them already under our G League. So you don't want to overcommit to a TJ Warren. You don't want to overcommit to a Jay Crowder type of player, because you can always get somebody that can do similar things that's younger, and you can put them on a two-way contract, or you can put them on a cheap 5-10 year deal and still watch them grow over a long period of time, and then give them a longer extension in the future if they live up to what you think that they can be as players. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share, and hit the notification bell. More analysis coming your way, and you get it hot and ready to go soon as it comes out. And I will also say thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for hitting the notification bell, and thanks for sharing my videos, because it keeps this channel popular, it keeps this channel popping, and it keeps this channel getting researched and found by other people, which makes this channel bigger. As you can see, the numbers are high, 12,000 people. That's a record for me. Now we're trying to obviously continue to go up, and I like the fact that you guys been doing everything I have asked y'all the last 10 plus years, and y'all continue to do that, whether they new or old subscribers, which I want to see, and I'm appreciative of that. Other than that, all I can say is continue to check out my older videos. If you're new to the channel or you've been on the channel, it might be some videos you want to see or you might miss. So check my channel to see if you missed or you might want to see something. That's just a reminder to help you guys out, because I make videos basically every single day throughout the entire year. And there's always going to be something that you didn't want to watch, or you couldn't watch, or you wanted to watch. Just remember, you can always check out my channel as long as you're living, and then you can be able to see what you might have missed. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for grinding with me, and we getting ready for another work week, and I'm already at back-to-back videos, so hopefully this is a video you enjoy, because free agency usually is one of them that y'all like the most, because y'all like my opinion of how I like certain players and what they can bring to the table. Other than that, thanks for watching.